Hi guys, I have a very busy week today with like a shit ton of midterms, but I just wanted to film this video real quick for you guys because I just did my philosophy midterm and I just wanted to share this one thing that I thought was so incredibly pertinent. This here, ignore my random doodles and my notes, is what I wanted to share with you guys, and this is like foundational to Hegel in my opinion. If you know Hegel, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also, if you don't know who Hegel is, he's just like some old dude. That's not really a good description. He's a philosopher after the French Revolution, so we're learning about his philosophy of right. Basically, what Hegel believes is that we have free will, and I guess this video is for the people who believe we have free will. I don't know if we have free will or not, but I choose to believe we have free will. Otherwise, I think it is depressing as hell to think that we don't have free will. Anyways, what Hegel believes is that we have free will, and this is evident through our self-consciousness, our ability to reflect on ourselves, our ability to notice even our thoughts and like make decisions that go against some of our body's desires. So we kind of have like this override power, and he talks about how humans are different in the sense that we are able to harm ourselves, like overcome our instinct and commit suicide or do all those other things. And that's like obviously another heavily debated topic of whether humans are above animals in this sense. But basically he just believes that we have free will, and because we have free will, we have this sort of freedom. It is our purpose to be free. It is in us to be free. So yeah, you might be wondering like, where is she even going with this? Like, why is she talking about this? But I will get to the point right now. So basically he believes our will is separated into two parts that are equally important, even though I feel like one part's more important than the other part. But basically there's indeterminacy and determinacy, okay? Here is our will separated into determinacy and indeterminacy, something like that, okay? And indeterminacy is our ability to negate things, our ability to say no to things, like, okay, I'm not going out today, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But the determinacy aspect is our ability to particularize ourselves in a certain direction. And this is what I want to get at. I feel like a lot of us these days, we're not particularizing ourselves in any direction, especially because of social media, scrolling, all these, like, you see all these different possibilities. Okay, I guess like back then, a long time ago, you didn't have all these possibilities in front of you, and obviously that's a privilege to have in our age, like, I guess like if you're in the 1800s and you're just some farmer, then it's like, okay, you just farm and then you have like a routine. But not saying that's like good, but I think like everything has their own set of advantages and problems. And the problem that we face today is a lot of us, we see so many things online, we see so many possible lives, we have so many options, and because of that, a lot of us are not making any decisions. This is the problem I'm trying to address today, and the problem I want to bring awareness to is that a lot of us struggle to determine ourselves in a certain direction because that means negating all other paths. But basically here you see this little guy. This is called the impulse for the infinite, because we have so many choices in front of us. We just want to do all of them, because it's like if we settle on a single path, you can't do any other thing, like that's just obvious for us. Like if you decide to go to the gym, you might not be able to study for your midterm tomorrow. If you decide to, go for a run, you might not be able to do this and that. And because making a choice, particularizing our will in a certain direction means not being able to do all these other things, a lot of us are stuck in a state of indeterminacy where we don't want to determine our will in a certain direction because that means that we're not able to do all these other things. But you know what that leads to? That leads to nothing. And this is what Hegel has to say on this. He says, a will which resolves on nothing is no actual will. A characterless human being never reaches a decision. And this is not to shit on anyone, but this is just to bring light to the fact that because we're human, we have will, we need to exercise our will in a certain direction. And this is if you want to believe in Hegel's philosophy. I just think it's really interesting because he really put into words what a lot of us are struggling with today, and that is the impulse for the infinite. And in order to be great, you must restrict yourself in certain ways. He who is everything is nothing. And this other guy named Goethe, I don't know how to pronounce that, said, whoever wills something great must be able to restrict himself. So basically the point I'm trying to get across in this video is the fact that we cannot be tempted by all these different things, and the fact that we must come to terms with making certain choices and understanding that those choices means negating other things, okay? I think sometimes, even for me, I kind of like brainwash myself like, okay, I can do everything, I can do all these things. And I'm telling you guys, I have so many things on my plate currently. This is a problem that I always always struggle with in my life. A lot of times I have all of these ambitions, but because of all these ambitions and trying to do well in every single aspect, I get burnout and I actually don't do well in any of them. And this is like a lesson that I feel like I always need to learn every single year, which is the fact that you need to come to terms with negating certain things. You have to be able to say no to things, and you have to just realize that saying yes to something means saying no to another thing. And it's the start of a new year. I guess it's the second month, but I still think it's the start of a new year. A lot of us are making goals, a lot of us are setting plans, but I feel like what's even more useful is telling yourself what you're not going to do this year. Like, okay, maybe I won't write my novel, maybe I won't do this, because it is so hard to tell yourself that you're not going to do those things, right? Especially if it's not something that's negative, like, oh, I'm not going to go on social media. Like, of course everyone wants to do that, but you also have to realize that in order to particularize yourself in a certain direction successfully, that means you have to let go of certain things. Am I saying that you can't do multiple things at once? No, obviously you're not just gonna like do one thing. But what I'm saying is that if you feel like you have too many things on your plate, if you feel like you're not doing well in any direction, it is time to let go of certain things. And as well, if you feel like you cannot make a decision, it is time to come to terms with reality, with the fact that you can only do one thing at once. And that just inherently means not being able to do other things. My professor in my class, he gave an example of Hamlet. So in Hamlet, I never read Hamlet, so I just know what my professor said. Basically, he doesn't come to a conclusion about whether his uncle really killed his dad or something like that, and he's always looking for evidence. But the thing is, like, you can never have enough evidence, you can always question every single thing. So because he wasn't able to reach a final decision, that ended up in his death. And that's not to scare anyone, but I'm just trying to stress the importance of making a decision, of coming to terms with the fact that you cannot do certain things. So how do you implement this in your life? I think a lot of us were stuck on scrolling, we're stuck on doing things because we cannot reach a decision, because we don't want to face reality. I feel like when you're just scrolling on Instagram or something, it's like you're just hovering by, you're looking at all these different options, you're not really like committing to a single thing. A lot of us are afraid of this sort of commitment because we're reminded of our finitude. I think a lot of us need to like just come face to face with reality. A lot of times I struggle with this too, but I also need to remember that that's where you find a lot of fulfillment, by making a choice and sticking with it, As well, a lot of times I like to tell myself what I'm not going to do today. I want to be conscious of this choice that I'm making. Like, I don't want to lie to myself like, okay, I can do this and do this and do that. So you need to just tell yourself like, okay, today I will go to the gym, and that means I cannot study, and I will deal with those consequences, instead of just being like, oh, what should I do? And then just like regretting everything. But anyways, that is basically my message for this video, guys. This is Hegel's point of view. If you have free will, it is your job to determine it in a particular direction, and you don't want to be tempted by the impulse for the infinite, because he who is everything is nothing. If you don't particularize yourself in a certain direction, you will never be great at anything. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know this video seems kind of rushed, but hopefully this video was helpful for you guys in any way. I just wanted to share some of the knowledge I learned from my class, and I'll see you guys sometime next week.